Hi everyone, I'm Dina with Mills Family Gardening. Welcome back to our channel, and today we'd like to give you just a quick tour of our little garden in our backyard. We live in North Texas, Zone 8A, and we thought today would be a good day to do it. And we'll start with our blackberries. So we've had these blackberries for about 4 years, and you can see that they're blooming right now. And I see some bees collecting some nectar there. And I also noticed this year that we also have some baby blackberry plants. If you can see the roots of the blackberries, they sent the babies. There's one, and then there's another one, which is very exciting because that means we'll get to have more blackberries in the future. Right here we have a grapevine. I planted a few years ago. I can't remember when exactly, and I didn't save the tag, so I don't know the variety of this grapevine. But the exciting thing is that for the first time this year I noticed that we have two very first clusters of grapes. If you can see right here, and then on this branch we have a little cluster of grapes, which is very exciting. This is going to be hopefully our very first harvest of our own grapes, and of course I'll have to tie it up better so the trellis would be able to support the cluster of grapes. And here we have an apricot tree that we planted about 3-4 years ago, and actually last year we got some nice apricots from it, but then something got into the tree. It might be tree borers or something else, but you can see that down here the tree started dripping sap. You can still see the leftovers right here and then there. And then you can see the top of the tree completely died, so we need to saw it and turn it into mulch or do something with it. But thankfully we have new branches that are growing from the bottom part of the tree, and hopefully these branches will give us some apricots in the future too. And behind the apricot tree we decided to plant some gladioluses. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And also last year I planted just one root of comfrey. And this year I was surprised to see that we have actually 2 plants now. And I never watered it. I thought it was dead, but it came back up nicely. And in this little raised bed that we built several years ago, last year I planted some strawberries. We had strawberries growing wildly in this raised bed for a while, and then last year I decided to make them more organized. So I collected some baby strawberries, separate them from their mother strawberries, and just planted them nicely. It just looks better overall, and I also put some drip irrigation line here. And you can see that we are going to have our first strawberries from this baby plant. And right next to the strawberries we have a little patch of asparagus, and it gives us plenty of asparagus. Asparagus has shallow roots, and so because I didn't water it enough in the past, a couple of roots actually died, but it's okay because we still have sufficient amount of asparagus and we eat plenty of it. And did you know that asparagus is very good for your kidneys? So you need to consider growing asparagus. By the asparagus patch we built a new trellis for our future cucumbers, and just yesterday we worked on preparing the ground for them. I have not planted the seeds yet. Hopefully after we have rain today or tomorrow I'll plant some seeds and they'll enjoy this trellis here. And next to the trellis we have potatoes, and you can see that they're blooming right now. They're looking nicely, and I actually peeked in there and I saw that we already have small potatoes developing, so hopefully they'll grow and we'll have a nice crop of potatoes. Last year we actually harvested 30 pounds of potatoes from this raised bed, and I planted 6 pounds of them, but this year I planted only 3 pounds, so we'll see how much we can get from 3 pounds of potatoes. And behind the potatoes we have some echinacea here. I decided to have more flowers in our garden. It's always beneficial to have more flowers. This is sorrel. It's doing amazingly great because I don't really water it and it tastes amazing. Then we have some Canterbury Bells here. They've never bloomed, but I'm hoping that this year they will. We also have some bachelor buttons here. And also in the same raised bed with potatoes we have some garlic, and I did not have much time to water it last fall and winter, and we had drought, and so a lot of it died, but amazingly some of it is still growing. And also here you can see I have 2 plants of bok choy. I separate them from the other plants and they're doing great. Also I planted some Malabar spinach the other day, and I can see that the little sprouts are coming up, which is very exciting. I got the seeds free from a Facebook page, so I'm hoping that this year we'll get to taste some Malabar spinach. And right next to Malabar spinach, we have some Egyptian walking onions, and you can see that some of them started walking already. I'm excited to collect some baby walking onions, and hopefully I'll be able to share the seeds with the friends. Next to the potatoes, we have a metal raised bed, and on one side of it, we just recently planted some ginger, and you can see that a couple of them are already sprouting, which is exciting. Now, actually, I see 3 of them sprouting, but then on the other side of it, we have some carrots, and you can see that they germinated real nicely. Actually, the big ones, they were planted last fall, that's why they look bigger. But then the other ones died again because we had a really bad snow, and then we had drought, so some of the carrots died, but I just decided to plant some new seeds in between the existing carrot plants. And here we have a nice blueberry plant, and I thought that it would not produce anything this year because when it started blooming, that's when we had that snow, and I thought all the berries, all the blooms died. But if you look closer, right here, you will see that we actually have some berries that are ripening. They're already getting rounder. They're green for now, but soon they will turn purple, and I'm sure our daughters will enjoy picking them from the blueberry plant. And blueberries require more acidic soil. That's why I planted this blueberry in a pot, and it's been here for several years and it's doing great. I mulched it with some pine needles. I also put some manure here, and I also water it with rainwater, and it's doing wonderful. And here's our tomato patch. We built these supports for tomatoes last year. They're not tall. They're about 5 foot tall trellis, and you see that my older daughter actually helped me tie the tomatoes to the garden wire, but we still need to tie the tomatoes on the other side. So we'll have to do that whenever we have time. And also, you see these little plants, these are cosmos. We had them last year and the seeds just dropped, and now we have volunteer plants. I think I will have to transplant them somewhere else because this is not a good spot for them. But I heard that cosmos are good pest repellents and they also look nice. That's why I decided to grow them. In this spot right under the abellia shrubs, I decided to transplant some kale, collard greens, and lettuce. I separate them from the other seedlings, and they're doing great because this spot gets shade in the afternoon, and they're enjoying the shade. And right here we have some green radishes that I want to collect seeds from, so I'm letting them bloom. And you can see that the seed pods are already forming, so hopefully soon I'll collect some seeds from them. I also wanted to quickly show you the little garden bed that our daughters created on their own. They removed all the weeds and grass, and I gave them some seeds. They planted them. They're watering and taking care of their little garden, and it's looking great. And they actually expanded it, and they're looking at what else they can plant here. And this is our second raised bed. It's larger than the previous one. And this raised bed is mainly for these raspberries. They're called Enz Gold Raspberries. They're supposed to tolerate the heat. We have 3 plants of them. Here's the second one, and there's the third one, and you can see that they're doing real well. And I thought that while they're still little, I will plant other stuff in there. So we have dill and cilantro and lettuce and bok choy and spinach and kale. We have all kinds of things here. And also, since we don't have any grow light in the house this year, I decided to start some eggplant seeds right in the raised bed, and you can see that they already sprouted there and over there. And right next to the raised bed, we have this apple tree. You see that it's blooming. It's been here for 4 years and it's doing great, except that I didn't prune it this year. Hopefully next year I'll prune it better, but it's doing well nevertheless. And next to the apple tree, we have this whole area that I would like to transform and change into a garden. So I'm working on it. I put some cardboard and I'm keeping it down with some pots and also the used bedding from our guinea pigs, and I'm hoping that in the fall I'll plant something there, or maybe I'll plant some clover to improve our soil because our soil is pretty much clay. And here I planted some watermelon seeds, and you can see that some of them started sprouting already, which is exciting. This year I decided to try sugar baby watermelon. I've never grown it before. I'm just interested to know what it tastes like and what it looks like. Anyway, gardening is all about experimenting. And also we have this fennel plant here that's been growing here for several years, and I never planted. I planted it once a few years ago, and it's been coming back ever since. In the beginning of April, we planted corn, and it's come up nicely, and it's growing nicely, as you can see. I fertilized it with some horse manure. We put it last fall, and then just recently, I also added some llama manure here. Right next to the corn, we have an in-ground bed with all the cool season vegetables. For example, the first row you see are radishes, then these are green radishes that the seeds were given to me by my mother, and they're doing well here. And also the next row is beets, dill, radishes, and then Swiss chard. There's bok choy, and there's some free seeds that I got from Baker Creek Seeds. If you watched our video about pruning a peach tree, this is the peach tree that we pruned, and you can tell it's looking great. It's very healthy. It really enjoyed it pruning and also fertilizing with some sheep manure. All right, guys, that's the end of the tour. We hope you enjoyed it. Gardening is always work in progress and a big experiment, and we'll keep working on it. And y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.